All right, we're back here on SportsLine. Phone lines open, 737-7767. If you'd like to join in, Steve Lehman along with Kevin Reiser from Centennial Tennis Center tonight. We just talked all about that great men's final between Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and what it means for men's tennis moving forward. Meanwhile, Serena Williams just keeps rolling along. 3 for 3 in the slams this year. She won Australia, won the French again. Now gets a 6th Wimbledon title, 21 overall. Can we even start to grasp and put our arms around just how good she has been historically compared to some of the other greats?
Yeah, you can't compare it to other players. You can't begin to fathom how many Grand Slams that is, and the fact that she's already has the Serena Slam, and now she's just going to go for the regular Grand Slam, which I don't think it's been done since Steffi Graf did in '88. I mean, it's been, and she's considered the greatest player of all time, and I believe Serena's done it when she's been older. And so it's hard to fathom doing that or seeing somebody else be able to do that.
Well, in the microscope now that's going to be on New York for the U.S. Open coming up around Labor Day when she goes for it now, because it truly will be a historic moment if she can do something that hasn't been done in nearly 30 years, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that place being rocking pretty good if she's in contention, has a chance to go for that Grand Slam. You're going to see some. Arthur Ashe is already known as being pretty loud. I imagine it'd be even louder.
When we talk about the men's side and the great players there, Kevin, we talk about sort of the beautiful game that Federer plays. We talk about the weapons that Djokovic has and his great returns and the physicality of Nadal, those sort of things. Serena kind of has all of that on the women's side. I mean, she's the most physical player out there. She has the biggest weapons. Probably the biggest stroke of all the strokes, like biggest serve, biggest forehand, probably the biggest backhand. She moves pretty well, especially for her size. Is there a weakness with Serena Williams' game?
With what she's done, it's hard to come up with one. Usually you talk about wanting to have 2 weapons in order to compete at a high level, and like you said, she has about 6. So I guess you just have to pick your poison and hope she's off one day. You just don't see it that very often, where you have the biggest backhand, the biggest forehand, the biggest serve, great second serve, mentally tough as nails. I mean, you just don't see that very often.
Like Federer, she's getting up there in age, but showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. And maybe the most impressive thing to me, Kevin, about her career arc is mid-20s, I think people wondered if she was committed to being the greatest player of all time. She took a lot of time off. She did other things and didn't spend a ton of time on the court. Now it seems like she realized truly the gift that she has and the opportunity she has in front of her. And she seems completely devoted to being not just the best player right now, but the best player ever in women's tennis.
Yeah, and I don't know if it has anything to do with her sister becoming sick and not being able to play at the high level, and maybe not taking it for granted, and what, maybe I won't be able to play this game the rest of my life. And she's had some issues in at that age as well, and maybe it just kind of refocused her on what she needs to be doing. And it seems like a lot of times it's not that hard for her to win these Grand Slams, step on court and rip some forehands for winners and call it a day. So I'm not sure how tough it is on her sometimes. We've
seen some people rise up and occasionally win. Certainly more people rise up and win from out of the top group on the women's side than we have on the men's side. But the other thing that's amazing about her is, probably the most consistent next best player in the women's game right now is Maria Sharapova, and she's won 17 straight matches against her.
Right.
To think of any of the top 4 on the men's side doing that against another one of the top 4 is just insane.
Right.
And that's exactly what Serena Williams is doing to the best players on the women's game.
Yeah, like we talked about, she has no weakness. So I think you're seeing a lot of these girls and women on the tour not know how to go about it. Not to go, well, hey, Sharapova's forehand is huge. Well, Serena's is bigger. She struggles with it. A lot of these girls are struggling with serve. She's got probably the biggest, best serve on tour. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing her hit 125, which I don't think you're used to seeing that when you go to watch a women's tennis match. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It'll be a lot of fun to watch her come back home to the U.S. and go for the Grand Slam, the calendar Grand Slam at Flushing Meadows at the U.S. Open coming up later this summer. Of course, the hard court season before that, always a lot of fun throughout the U.S. too. And that's another thing we should point out. people calling earlier trying to figure out how to enjoy it more on television, just watching these sports. If you ever get the opportunity, Atlanta's in a couple of weeks. You've got Cincinnati, which is a very drivable event, and maybe the best event, frankly, in the U.S. in terms of fan-friendly experiences. Just talk about showing up at these tournaments and some things that people can expect if you go watch pro tennis for a day.
Yeah, I think people would be very surprised at how fast and how physical the game is. You look at tennis as kind of a it's not a contact sport, and it's kind of a pretty game, and things like that is what you hear. But when you go out there and you see these balls being hit, these serves are coming in at 130 miles an hour, and they're closer than a pitcher's mound is to the pitcher. And you marvel at a guy hitting a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, which is crazy hard, but 130 miles an hour at a closer angle and a whole lot more margin. It's very impressive to see the size of these athletes, the hand-eye coordination it takes to do this, the movement, the endurance. People don't give its due just because you watch it on TV and you haven't gone to see a tennis match. It's pretty incredible.
Well, and it's also amazing, as someone who dabbles in tennis a little bit, certainly not at that level, it's amazing the better the competition gets, how much harder the sport is. I mean, you go out and you hit for a little while with your neighbor, and maybe it doesn't seem that hard, or you don't move that much or whatever. You go out and hit. I go hit with you. It's like a different experience. Yeah,
when you're asked to make 30 balls in a row and going at max effort, not just tapping at it, taking a full swing. You pick up a 1-pound object and swing it a couple thousand times as hard as you can. You're going to get exhausted
for 5 hours.
That's right, and 90-degree heat outdoors.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, that's for sure. Let's talk about some of the stuff going on besides my game at Centennial Tennis Center this summer. What are some of the things, just on a daily basis? I want to talk about the tournament in a second, but just on a daily basis for people who maybe watch Wimbledon this weekend and want to get started, want to go out to public tennis center, what do they need to know?
We have programs just about any level of tennis at Centennial, and just about any day we have a program. We have a program called Power Tennis, which is a more of a workout-based kind of clinic. We have junior clinics every day of the week for any age group between 4 years old all the way up to when you're 18 years old. We have some high-performance clinics we have adult clinics. I mean, if you want to come out, that's a Centennial Tennis Center is a great place to start off because we have all levels, all ability levels playing there. It's a great place to start.
If people want to go out to some of these clinics or group lessons or whatever, do they have to sign up in advance? Is there a website for that, or can they show up some days and get on a court?
Yeah, you can go to our Metro website, and all the information is going to be on there. You can swing by. We have a great staff out there that can answer all your questions. We have flyers, forms. You'll have to sign up for these classes because they're pretty popular, especially after the Grand Slams. And they'll fill up, so you want to make sure you get your name on the list so you get one of the roster spots. But you can go online, you can come by, talk to the staff, talk to us. We're glad to help anybody try to get started in tennis.
For people kind of the next level up, what type of leagues do you guys have out there? And can you find hitting partners all the time, leagues to play in?
Yeah, we have men's and women's adult singles leagues, ranging from all levels from 2-5 to 4-5 if you're familiar with the rating system, so beginner, intermediate, advanced. We have a wall of just people that are looking to hit, phone numbers. People just want to get out there and just hit some balls and get a good workout. We have that as well. We have some USTA leagues that we do and we facilitate. If you're looking for something a little bit more competitive, we have it all.
I know one of the things that Centennial has been very proud of in the past has sort of been the youth development programs. You have multiple courts marked off as, I call them short courts. I don't know if there's a better term for that, but for the young kids with the compression balls and those sort of things to really get them started in tennis. Is that still going gangbusters out there? And what do people need to know about getting their kids started really at a very young age?
Yeah, I mean, we have all of the quick start tennis stuff as far as compression balls, smaller rackets, smaller courts, which makes tennis more enjoyable rather than being very difficult, like playing on a full-size court and a pressure green ball and a huge racket. We have small rackets. Every kid can play. Every kid can do it. Every kid can rally. And at all levels, we have 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds out there playing. If they want to come out and try it out, and they'll succeed because they've made it a whole lot easier to succeed.
If someone wants to pick up a racket tomorrow for the first time, what would be your advice to them to get started, how to get started?
I would just tell them to go out to your local court you have, get some tennis balls, and just hit a few serves or hit a ball around a little bit. Or if you wanted to get a little more in depth with it, you could go to like one of your local centers and see if they have a place where people are looking to play. You'll see people playing on courts all the time, and go up there and go, hey, you want to hit a few tennis balls, and just get out there. It's the #2 sport as far as for calories burned. So you'll definitely get a workout, that's for sure, if you get out there. If you're looking for a little more instruction, we have pros. We have 4 pros at Centennial that'll be able to help you out, work with you if you want to work on some things and give you some pointers, so it's a little bit more enjoyable when you get out there. But my recommendation, just get on the court and try it out and see if you like it.
It's going to be hard to find courts this weekend because the big Tennessee State closed tournament is there. That's one of, if not the biggest, youth tournaments in the state of Tennessee every year. You guys do a great job with it. What are you expecting this weekend in terms of the type of tournament out, and talk about the age ranges and all that?
Yeah, the Tennessee State Close is one of our bigger tournaments. We use multiple sites. It'll range from any kids between 8 and under divisions all the way to 18 and under divisions. We expect close to 275 to 300 kids, which is a great number that'll be coming out and playing in this event. There'll be a lot of very high quality ranked players and quality tennis being played from all levels. You'll see some of the top players in Tennessee get into this tournament and play in this tournament, and so it's a great level of tennis for this age.
It's Friday through Monday. I imagine most kids who would be interested already know. Obviously, it's not sneaking up on them at this point. But if by chance it did on somebody, can people still sign up or sign their kid up? You might be able to call the tournament director and get them in there. A lot of times draws are being made about this time, but sometimes some people fall out and you might be able to get in there. You just have to go to the USTA website and find the Tennessee State Closed and contact that tournament director. Runs Friday through Monday. What kind of a spectator event is this? Because these are some of the best kids in the state of Tennessee. Yeah, it's a great spectator event. You're going to see a very high level of tennis. It isn't going to be just your kids that first time pick up a racket. A lot of these kids have taken lots of lessons. They play from all over the state of Tennessee, and Tennessee doesn't get the recognition it deserves as far as producing junior kids. We've had some of the top-ranked kids in the country that have gone on to play at Vanderbilt and big-time schools, and they've played at the Tennessee State Closed. And so you're going to see some very, very well-trained, good athlete tennis players. I especially think the later rounds Sunday and the finals on Monday could be really terrific tennis between kids who are going to be Division I players at some point, possibly on the pro circuit down the line. One more question before I let you go. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Vanderbilt and the job Jeff McDonald did winning the national championship this year. How good of a job has he done with that program and getting it back to those heights? And what's that mean for tennis around here when people look out and see Vanderbilt winning the national tennis championship? Yeah. It's amazing the job he's done, having that program consistently in the top 15 in the country, and then the run they went on was incredible. I think you saw everybody at Centennial was always getting on the computer to find those matches and watch those matches and watch these epic 3-set matches, and you don't know if the girls are down or if they're up, and their mental strength to do that, and just to win a national championship in tennis against UCLA's and the USC's and the Stanfords of the world, it was very incredible. It absolutely was. Well, a lot of good stuff going on in the world of tennis. Kevin, thanks so much for coming in and talking tennis, talking Centennial Tennis Center. Best of luck out there with the tournament this weekend. I appreciate it. It should be a lot of fun. Kevin Reiser from Centennial Tennis Center. We've got to take a break. When we come back, John Burton talks with Vanderbilt running back Ralph Webb right after this on SportsLine here on News Channel 5+.